My name is Shadrach Kisame. Welcome to the Desk, the continent's leading intellectual platform. I tell you. Now, thank you very much for watching U24. We trust that every time you watch U24, you are inspired, you're motivated, and above all, you are going to be inspired. Now, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be discussing digital financial inclusions, all the birthing of the digital services that have been coming up here and there post-COVID. What are we doing next? Now, my guest, ladies and gentlemen, he has all the solutions. He has all the answers for you. He's a digital consultant. He's been with banking. He's been with telecom. And I tell you, this man has all the answers. Edwin Moses Byaruhanga. Now, I tell you, this man from Easy Money, he's been project manager. He's been everywhere. He's been with banking. He's been with telecom. How old are you even?
That's a digital secret. That's a digital secret.
Because when you look at Moses' profile, he's done like a million jobs. He's been with banks, he's been with telecom, he's been with Easy Money, he's been with a lot of consultation jobs. Like, how long has it taken you to do all these things and accomplish this?
Hello, viewers. Thank you, Shadrach.
Yeah.
It's taken me a span of 15 years
My goodness.
to get some experience under my belt, but it also comes with a passion for digital financial services, financial inclusion, and impacting lives and changing lives of the undeserved. So along the journey, it's been quite interesting and it's still going on. So I'm happy to be here to discuss a passion.
Right. Okay. Now, let's just dive in there. Because you see, Moses, with COVID, everything has changed. The workspace has changed. Employment has been cut. People are crying. And so the only people who are actually basking high and, are the digital guys, people who work remotely. Let's talk about financial inclusion. To a layman who is watching, they're all the youths, they just see a financial inclusion. Just let us know, fill us in. What is financial inclusion?
Well, thank you. Financial inclusion is the theme or the idea that individuals and businesses have access to useful financial products and services to meet their needs. For example, transactions, loans, that's credit, insurance. But it just generally means that everybody has access to a financial product that is useful, affordable, and derived responsibly and sustainably. So it just means that Edwin is able to access credit, he has an account, he's able to access insurance, and all these products are designed around my life and as the customer and are affordable to me.
Okay.
So that means financially in the system, I am included in that type of transaction and that type of platform. Yes. The aim is to secure products and services to those who are underserved and bring everybody on board to have a general growth pattern that doesn't leave anybody out. So that's in a nutshell, that is financial inclusion.
Yes. Okay, because most cases when people talk about financial inclusion, the only thing we think about is banks.
And unfortunately, that is the mistake that we make. When we talk about financial inclusion and financial products and services, we're talking about credit, insurance, clean energy now has come in, because all these things are tied together.
Okay.
Somebody who wants to use an account has another life behind the need for that account.
Okay.
So in true financial inclusion, you come up with a whole bouquet or buffet of packages that you can offer that person to see a holistic improvement in their life.
Okay.
Shadrach, if I give you an opportunity to open an account, but I do not tailor a health facility around that account, what I've just given you is something with digits. And your health remains a big problem in your household. So we're looking at different things when you talk about financial inclusion. Yes, it is access, usage, and the quality of the financial product and service that you're offering people. And financial products and services have originally grown from accounts or access to financial services, credit, but now we have insurance. People are talking about health. We're looking at clean energy. There's a lot that is now under financial inclusion.
Now let's talk about the post-COVID. Do you think financial inclusion is the next big thing post-COVID? Because people have tried it and it has actually been the only way to go for transaction. People are doing everything remotely. There is no mobility. Do you think post-COVID people are going to just keep this culture up? Is it the next big thing?
Thank you. The positive that we can take out of COVID and post-COVID, and we're very sorry about the people who are losing lives and the lives that have been affected, is that sometimes you need a certain environment to push you to another level.
Okay.
It may not be the comfortable environment that you anticipate. Most times it is hard decisions that need to be taken, but we've seen a rapid migration of to digital technologies driven by the pandemic.
Yes, sir.
And there's rapid adoption of digital channels to deliver services during COVID. I'll give you an example. In banking, as we know it, people have gone now online to
Yes.
do all the online banking. People have resorted to apps to
Yes.
push and pull money from their accounts to a cash in, cash out place, which is
And the queues there were very hectic.
yes, and you would believe it before, banks have been trying to implement these digital channels, but the growth has been very minimal because people have been tuned into going into the bank branch.
Yes, yes.
So in comes COVID and you're not allowed to go to the bank,
Yes.
and then your attention is suddenly drawn to online banking
Yes.
or mobile banking.
Yes.
So that's in banking, that's what has changed. People have now gone to platforms to see how they can access their money.
Yes, yes.
When you're looking at education, we know that schools are not open.
Yes,
But
yes.
if you had been telling somebody about online study with our local schools before COVID, they would have told you those are things which are hypothetical and are not.
And
But
actually people are studying online.
Yes,
We
yes,
have people
yes.
graduating online.
yes, schools have taken on the digital option, and students are studying. They send you a code, be it through WhatsApp or to the parent, and the student logs in to that code and gets the work and gets it done. That's a digital option.
But do they really study? Moses, you remember when you do not do homework, you do not do an assignment, there's a teacher to tell you, hey, come on, there are disciplinary measures. But with online, how are we going to effect that?
Well, every emerging technology has its challenges. There's a bit of discipline that's needed, responsibility that's needed. But as the human race, we grow into different things and adapt. As we have adapted to,
Yes.
to not going to certain places. I'll give you another example, groceries.
Yes.
You've seen all types of online or WhatsApp groups popping up. Hey, I deliver Irish potatoes from
Yes.
as far as Kabale.
Yes,
You
yes.
order, send mobile money. So there's a switch to digital, a slow but steady switch to digital options now. Whether we revert back to our old ways, that's entirely
Yes.
different discussion. But to vividly give the importance of digital and how it has changed and how it will affect financial inclusion is working from home.
Yes, yes.
There's all this about Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
And when you ask around those who are using these digital platforms, they tell you, I'm more productive now than I was when I was driving to work. Because remember, we've been doing it the manual way.
Yes.
We've been losing 2-3 hours in jam
Yes.
in the
yes,
morning,
Yes.
and then 2-3 hours in the evening
Yes.
going to work. So your productivity
6 hours in jam.
So out of the day that you work 12 hours or whatever time it is, you lose 6 just to be in the jam. So somebody's saying, look, my quality of work has gone up. I'm having more time to do, and that is because of the convenience that digital brings to the life. So definitely, digital is the way to go. Digital transformation is the way to go, and and we should adapt, or else we will be forced to adapt like other societies
Yes.
to digital. Yes.
Okay. How can a youth who is watching you right now, as we go for a short break, how can a youth who is watching you right now stay relevant in this? What should they do to stay relevant in the employment space during this digital era that is taking over? Because I mean, if someone has been used to, let's say, just going to work, going to the office, how will they stay relevant? How will they keep that job in this digital era that has come involuntarily? We've not chosen it. We've not chosen your financial inclusion, Jazz. We have not chosen it. It has just taken us by storm. How do I stay relevant?
So the statistic that is the most scary statistic for Uganda is 75% of Uganda's population is below the age of 30.
30 youth, yes.
So wherever you are, just know the 75% below the age of 30 who are capable of doing what you're able to do right now and better. So your time where you are is limited, whether you are in a corporate environment and things are changing. Now the question is, how do I stay relevant as youth? That means competition is tougher now. That means as an individual you have to have a certain value to a company or to an organization.
Absolutely.
The old way we've been doing it is we've been studying a whole lot of things, going through the motions. You get your degree and that is it. But when you look at the job market now or the employment market now, companies are looking more specifically at skills.
Yes.
Soft skills. Do you know how to present? Do you know how to speak? Do you know how to write? How good are you at specific things they're looking for? Looking at data analytics now, people who can analyze data. Because now information is the new oil,
Yes.
or the new gold. So you need to upskill in these relevant areas. You have to look at what is relevant right now and pick a field and say, okay, fine, I'm going to go into artificial intelligence or machine learning or data. There are things that are working right now.
Yes.
And other economies and other societies have mastered this because what they've just done is to go direct and attach their skills.
But are the opportunities there? Because you're telling millions and thousands of people watching there, millions of youths to go and do these specific things, say artificial intelligence, but someone is going to come out with a certificate and they're knocking on different offices and there's nothing.
Yes, you see, that's the interesting thing right there. When you're studying or upskilling, try not to study for this market.
Okay.
Try to study for the world market.
Okay.
Because as a person who's done different interactions, I can testify that I work with people in other countries whom I've never met.
Wow. Remotely,
remotely, yes. We
My
have
goodness.
a meeting and it's online, and then we discuss ideas that benefit that company. And then at the end of the day, there's a way in which remuneration is sent to me. So I don't knock at any office. What I do is just market my skill relevant to how I can help your company. And the millions and millions of businesses looking for young people to do this. There's something right now which is working called virtual assistant, and people are just looking for people to organize their day and tell me what I have. This is my schedule for a week. How do I organize my day? And they'll pay you per hour. Make no mistake, this is not a fantasy thing where you go onto the internet and log in. It takes time. It takes time for you to build that skill. It takes time for you to build your reputation, and it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. But if you do it well and do it wisely and deliver, people will pay you. People will pay you. They say the world is a global village right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So the other thing is how to benefit in this digital era to benefit from digital financial services and products. One is upskill, which I've just talked about.
Yes.
Two is, as a youth or somebody who is coming into the digital era, try and have a clean and clear credit history.
Okay.
Meaning that if you've borrowed from somewhere, do your best to pay back that money. Because
How is that?
because to access finance in the digital era,
Yes.
we look at what we call a digital footprint or a digital credit history.
Okay.
So in other economies, and I'm sure it is going to come here because we have credit reference bureaus now, it means if I borrow from Shadrach 200,000 today and I do not pay him back, and I borrow from John tomorrow and I borrow from Mary tomorrow and I do not pay them back, right now it looks like you can get away with it. But now what credit offering organizations are doing is saying, let's sit down,
Yes.
have one data bank about our borrowers, find out the trends and see how they have been behaving.
Yes.
So if my problem person is Shadrach in my organization and your problem person is Shadrach in your organization, we merge and send out an alert
About Shadrach. Yes.
Shadrach. So we three may not get our money back, but we will send that information out.
And no one, and I will not be credit worthy anywhere.
You will not be credit worthy anymore. That
Yes.
leaves you out of the digital sphere or the digital environment. Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is, I'm aware that there are some youth who are doing businesses already, and in the digital era, people are using Facebook and all these other platforms.
Yes.
Try and, in my opinion, in order to get meaningful business, the quality of content is quite important. What do you post
Yes.
on your digital platform?
Yes.
Is it relevant to what people want? I'm not going to go into the different videos that youth post on social media, which are either adult videos or trying to get attention to them. That's a different thing. I'm talking about meaningful businesses. How do I
Yes.
grow my business?
Yes.
Online on a digital platform.
Because what you're saying is right.
Yes.
As we go for a short break, you could have Facebook, you have your page, and then you've been posting all these funny things, and then later a time comes you wanna monetize your page, maybe to sell shoes.
Yes.
Okay, now I get it. It then affects your entire business and everything.
The good thing and the bad thing about digital platforms or digital finance sphere and financial inclusion, which also is embedded in that. But mostly the digital platform is people do not know the dangers of posting things that are negative and harmful to self.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. I think some countries are now beginning, when you apply for a visa,
Yes.
you're mandated to submit your Facebook and other social media accounts like your Twitter account.
Oh,
What happens is that they go through that
right.
and just derive what type of person you are, what mentality you are. If they find that your behavioral pattern is not something that your country or the country will be interested in, you don't get the visa.
Wow.
Now, many people ask themselves, and we do it the old way here, many people ask themselves, oh, I went with my land title, I went with the physical things. But it's very easy to come up with an analytical report of what type of person you are using artificial intelligence or data analytics of what you do on social media. There's
Okay.
a lot of data there.
Moses, let's go for a short break, but when we come back, we start exactly there on social media, how it affects how we can monetize our social media platforms. Let's just get... Now, do not go away. We are still on the continent's leading intellectual platform, the highest platform for solution finding. Now, do not go away as we analyze how digitally we can stay relevant as the youth. Do not go away. I'm still with Mr. Edwin Moses Byaruhanga. Do not touch your dial. Back to this very insightful episode of The Desk, where we're talking financial inclusion and digital services. Now, I tell you, if you're just joining us, I'm afraid you missed a very fast, insightful segment of this lovely episode. Now, I tell you, if you want to follow this discussion, you can go on our social media platforms. That is U24 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can do the same for @Shadrach Kisame. Do the same also for Edwin Byaruhanga.
Yes.
We're doing the same for Edwin Byaruhanga, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. He's very active on LinkedIn. That's where we normally have our conversations with him. Now, remember, the desk is here every Wednesday 9:30 p.m. and for the repeats on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. That is tomorrow. Now, for all our following in the diaspora, you can catch these episodes that you've missed live. For instance, this one is going to be on our YouTube platform next week. That is Shadrach Kisame or U24. Just go and type in YouTube and you can be able to get it. Now, Edwin, we're talking about how people can stay relevant, more especially the youths in this COVID and in this digital era. But we were discussing before we left off, which I don't actually want us to dive more into, the social media, because people actually later on discover that, okay, I want to monetize my page, but I did a lot of A, B, C, D, and you have actually filled us in that it has even gone far. Even when you want to get a visa, they actually look at those analytics. Yeah? What are some of the blocks or the hindrances that have hindered you guys who are trying to pitch to us these digital platforms, financial inclusions? What are some of the blocks that are hindering the adaptation of Shadrach, let's say Shadrach, to adapt these services? What are some of those blocks or challenges?
Thank you. There's quite a number of hindrances to adoption of digital financial services or getting onto these platforms. And they're very, very rife here in Uganda and in Africa as a whole. I'm just going to mention a few, there's information and literature about them, but the key ones are weak public awareness about the importance of these platforms. You can say digital literacy is not that widespread. So what people know here is Facebook and WhatsApp, and those are social platforms, but there are other platforms that people conduct businesses on. Give you an example of in China where you have WeChat, which is
it's WhatsApp. Like their WhatsApp.
It's their WhatsApp, but it has a financial side to it, a transaction side to it, and the people become.
You can like maybe buy airtime or
and even other goods. So people have become billionaires just by trading their products on such platforms, but we're not aware of that here. The other thing, to get onto these platforms, you have to have a kind of an identity. What we have here as an identity is a national ID, but that needs to be logged into these platforms, and sometimes getting these identities or identification is not very easy, as you've seen, and these are things which we're trying to advise
people to
government and people to work on. So when you don't have that identification, you cannot open an account which is then attached to your digital platform. So there's an age limit as well. So which you say you can have an account from 16 and below, is that youth, and you cannot operate an account when you're 16 years and below. You need a guardian until you're 18. That also just kills that. I've just said 75% of Uganda's youth is below, population is below 30.
Yes, that's true.
So those are the people we should be bringing onto board onto these platforms, but they can't access accounts because they are still young. The other thing that is a big hindrance to getting digital financial services and digital products out there is the lack of adequate infrastructure. You have people who have handsets here, phones here, but in Kasese, the ratio of the person who has a phone that works with this type of digital applications is rare. So we're having those, and also regulation and policy, which is trying to be changed now to match and to mirror other countries which have said, look, we've been analog for quite a long time. So let us promote innovation and that type of thing.
Okay, in the promotion of innovation and everything, this COVID-19 saga, has it been more of a curse than a blessing, or a blessing than a curse for you guys? Because I do not know where you lie exactly, because digital experts are celebrating there is a spike or when it comes to usage of digital financial services. So is it more of a blessing than a curse? Are you guys celebrating where we are crying?
No, it's I'd say it's both because it's in the terms of being a blessing, brought what it is brought out mostly is exposure, because what COVID or what the pandemic has done, it has reduced interface.
Yes.
Okay, it has reduced interface, and what we're calling social distancing now has affected very many customer interfaces. So that exposes and brings the mind into, if I cannot go to the bank and be with 50 people in the same branch to withdraw money, what's the other easier way for me to access my money? And that's where the digital guys come in. While that is a blessing, we still are not ready as a country or as a continent to fully understand and come out with regulation that promotes digital.
Yes, yes.
There are certain countries in other economies which I've just said, no more cash when you're dealing with this.
Yes.
In the countries where you go to certain stores and if you pull out cash to pay, they will not serve you because they want a digital transaction.
Yes, yes.
So it's two-way.
It's two-way.
Yes.
All right, Moses, let me go for a short break, but when we come back, we still talk about what government can do to enhance you guys. Yes? Okay. Now, do not go away. We are still on U24. And I tell you, you're still on the desk. A discussion that is always worth hearing. And I tell you, do not go away. The desk returns in a bit. And we're still broadcasting here at Nile Avenue at Nakasero Hill. Thank you very much for keeping it U24. We trust that every time you watch U24, you're inspired, you're motivated, and above all, you are educated. Like tonight, you're being educated about digital financial services and financial inclusion in particular. The man in the chair, ladies and gentlemen, he's not a man who just picked up things on TV and pocketed them. He's a hands-on man. He's been product manager in banks, in telecoms. I remember him with Easy Money. You were making a lot of noise selling these things and everything, and you were so vocal when it came to Easy Money.
Yeah, it comes with a passion, and before you can speak about certain things, you have to experience them so that you exactly know what the customer is feeling. So those were the days, and are still the days, when we rolled up our sleeves and got some of these networks down on the ground.
All right. And I tell you, if you're still at home, you need to really wash your hands. You need to, don't touch the soft spots. You know, I like when the president is saying, don't touch the soft parts. I didn't know there were soft parts. But keep sanitizing. We need you alive, because I tell you, we're going to get post-COVID. And some of the things we're discussing here actually are post-COVID. And we want you to stay financially upright post-COVID. That's why Edwin Moses Byaruhanga is here to, highlight you on what you can do. Now, what do you think government should do to enhance you guys, to give you guys a good working or health working environment?
Thank you. Government is already doing its part. There's a strategy, a National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2017-2022. And in that strategy, there's remedies and gaps that have been identified on how to move people to be more included, or bring about more inclusion. Some of those are what is called know your customer, that form you fill when you're opening an account or getting a SIM card, whichever platform you're trying to get onto. So some of them have been very rigid and said, no, we only deal with national ID, but in that we're trying to get, the government is trying to get, and central bank is trying to get a flexible know your customer type, saying maybe some will have a national ID, maybe others will have, so that it is more inclusive and more people come on board.
Yes.
I know that government is doing its, especially like now, government needs to think about rethinking service delivery. For example, government is the biggest, I think, employer, and also the biggest spender.
Yes.
So we're trying to push government, or thinking about ways of pushing government to move part of the cash payments that they do to through digital channels. Yeah, that would be a goodwill to show that government is now thinking of going digital in certain areas. With government, it's always easier said than done. But
Yes.
the discussions are going on behind the scenes. Government is also partnering with private sector and development partners, bring about awareness. I know we have what we call internet and connectivity, but government could also increase access to affordable.
Actually, on that point exactly, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's American, and he says the reason as to why we are not as productive is one, traffic jam, he hates it, and two is access to internet. Because your number one playground is the internet. What are you guys doing in line with government to make accessibility to internet more?
Yeah, the discussion about the cost of connectivity has gone on for a long time, but it is not something you discuss today and then get tomorrow, because there are different stakeholders and
Yes,
players.
absolutely.
There are those who provide the service, there's the customer. So there has to be a win-win situation, or a win-win situation for both the customer and that person who supplies it. But I can tell you for a fact that Uganda Communications Commission is doing its best to come to an agreement where we have interesting or affordable connectivity. So those are some of the
But
things.
it's costing us, Moses. It's costing us.
Yeah, the cost goes down eventually. And I know if you're talking about the cost of connectivity,
Productivity.
Yes, and productivity as well. Rome was not built in one day, so we're on the right track, and we have the generation to outsee and continue to testify that eventually
We'll get there.
we'll get there.
All right, Moses, our time is really fast spent. But lastly, you have experience with telecom and with banking. You've been there. You know how everything operates for all over those 15 years. How can we widen the employment space in telecom and in banking to accommodate the number of graduates that are coming out every day? Because you just advise them on how to stay relevant. Yes, they're going to stay relevant, but will these guys accommodate them? How can we widen the employment space down there?
Now, for the part of widening, I do not have good news, because the space is shrinking, because there are options, like I said, where a bank had 40 branches. We've seen this with some banks here.
Yes.
Banks have closed certain branches and gone through digital channels. So for widening the space to welcome new entrants is something that's not probably going to happen. But banks are going to need, and telcos specifically, are going to need people who are off-site skilled people. For example, I can troubleshoot when the network is down in this area. I have an off-site customer care service unit that doesn't actually sit in my office
Wow.
to handle customer care issues. If Shadrach doesn't know how to handle or load airtime, the customer care branch doesn't sit at my office.
Yes.
I hire out a certain specific group of people to deal with those, and they do that for me at that specific time. Conflict resolution. I banked money using this ATM and my cash is not reflecting. Eventually, I don't have to go to the bank to look physically, look where is my money.
Yes.
I call a certain offsite and they follow up that issue. So it spreads out, it narrows in for on-site stuff, but spreads out for
To
off-site.
off-site.
So the money is supporting supportive actions or businesses that can be affiliated to these two sectors.
So Moses, as we're winding up, are you trying to tell these youths that are watching you, or the Ugandans out there, that they should get off the rudimentary tradition where it was generically known that 8 to 5, I go to office and then go home?
Yeah, the times have changed, and it's no longer about driving to a destination to get paid. It's about delivering value to a destination. So I may be here or we may be here, but we deliver a report that tells somebody in China how many goats we have to sell tomorrow. And that person will pay us for that report. We've never met that person. So it's not about physically taking yourself to a destination or an office. It is about delivering value to an organization. Whether I'm on-site or off-site, that is different, but most preferably off-site.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Moses, it's a wrap. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We cannot handshake.
Thank you for having me too.
This is the new normal. We no longer used to love handshakes with my guests, but now this is the new normal.
Yes, thank you for having me too.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. And you know, Moses, you were supposed to come a long time ago, but he is a busy man to find.
Yes, I have finally made it to Canaan
after a long
40
time.
years.
Yes. Now you've been a lovely audience. Thank you very much for watching The Desk. And I tell you, every time you watch The Desk, you have something to learn. And specifically U24, keep yourself logged on. Now, like right now after this show, we're having a very educative movie. Now, do not touch your dial. Do not go away. My name is Shadrach Shagaf Kisame, now more than ever, here to stay. Good night, good luck, adios.